Good morning, everyone. Welcome to VivaTech, where basically innovation meets transformations. I am Philippe Estanes, PwC Consulting Partners, and today we are diving in topics who become a top priority for leaders across industries: how to reinvent your business model. According to the PwC latest Global CEO survey, 42% of the CEO globally and 68% in France believe that their current business model will not be viable in the next 10 years. Yet, in fact, only 7% of the revenue in the past 5 years came from new ventures. So, what's holding reinvention back? Is the topic that we're going to deal with today. Is it governance, is it talent, is it technology? Or is it basically the opposition between short-term performance and long-term visions? Is what we're going to deal with during these sessions. And we will explore how companies are moving from intent to impact, how they will leverage basically cutting-edge technologies, but also global trends and value shift within the different industries. And to do so, I'm pleased to welcome today three basically visionary pioneers: Hélène Labaume, Head of Innovation and Venture Capital at Carrefour, where basically she connects startups with one of the world's largest retailers; Guillaume Gibaud, founder and CEO of Slip Français, a bold brand reinventing the local manufacturing, as most of you know; and Bastien Didier, founder and CEO of Mentalista, a deep tech pioneer turning brainwave into new interfaces for interaction and creations. Let's get started with Hélène, if you are okay with that. Carrefour has been investing quite actively in terms of innovations and startups. How do you identify which innovation has the potential to really disrupt your business model rather than just optimize it?
Hi, everyone. So how we are working on that at Carrefour? A huge topic, because we are a big company with a lot of issues, a lot of pain points. What you have in mind is that we are always focusing on how we can innovate to improve our operations, of course, for our associates, but above all for the customers. This is our top priority. So how we identify that? We are looking at almost everything that happens in the news, in the ecosystem, in the startup ecosystem, at also our competitors in Europe, but also in the US, for sure, and in China, everywhere. For that, within the innovation, we have innovation and our VC fund. The VC fund have been created 3 years ago now. It's have been created with Daphne, which is a French VC. The idea here was for the fund to be a part of our digital retail strategy, to become this digital retail company. And we invest into 4 theses, which are the future of e-commerce and retail, the impact, fintech, and data index for the operations. Here we are really leveraging our Dastor, it's the name of our fund, to be really in the heart of what's happening, related to technologies, to innovations, to everything. And sometimes it's not at the heart of our businesses, but it's really a way for us to get the most open-minded mindset in order to be always able to be at the heart of innovation. This is really how we are working on that. And after, we are, of course, investing, but we are also doing a lot of cost fertilization in order to match startups with the businesses. And on the innovation side, I would say we can think about almost everything. It's like how we can offer a better experience for a customer in store, online. What could be the next supply chain model? We can think about everything. So we are quite free, I would say, to imagine what we could do. And to give you a few examples of what we've done the past few years, We have created a cashierless store, which was an autonomous store called Flash. We have been the first one in Europe to do the autonomous delivery. We have done also a lot of experiences within the metaverse, Web3, NFTs, because tomorrow it could be indeed a new experience for the customer, a new way to communicate with them, to sell also with them. We have launched 1 week ago our first shopping agent on our app to help a customer to go faster and to help them, thanks to agentic technology, to do the grocery shopping. So it's really wild, and we can really think about almost everything.
And in a retail giant like Carrefour, how do you balance the need for radical innovations and on the other end with the expectation of millions of everyday customers?
It's not always easy because indeed we can innovate, we can think about almost everything, but at the end we have to test, but it needs to have a ROI for sure if you want to scale. But sometimes it's always just for us a way to explore possibilities. We won't scale at first, but sometimes 1 year, 2 years, 3 years after, the technology will be more mature, will be more easy to scale, and then it will scale. We always think about the customer, but sometimes it's so niche, I would say, that it won't address all billions of customers. It's not possible at start.
And you were mentioning basically the scaling. We all know that basically in the many large organizations struggle to scale their innovations. What have you learned about turning promising experiments into a real business?
I would say, first of all, it's resilience. Because we launch a lot of projects, but indeed it's not always scaling for, as I just said, ROI topics, issues, or maybe it's sometimes too complex also to scale within Carrefour. But sometimes it can be also the simplest pilot which works. For example, last year we worked with one of Carrefour entities which is dedicated to customer NPS analysis and verbatim analysis, etc. And with them, we developed a simple tool to help our store manager to generate answers for customer verbatims in store. And we did that in a few weeks. And it really worked. It was really easy for store managers to use it. And now it's scaled in all our stores in France. And they are deploying it in all the countries. So sometimes it's the simple also.
So we are in VivaTech, and I think we cannot have a talk without mentioning the word AI. What role does it play in Carrefour business model reinventions for you? Beyond basically the buzzword.
AI is not new at Carrefour because we've been doing AI for many years now. We have the biggest data lake in Europe for a retailer, more than 10 billion transactions within it. Our teams have developed tons of algorithms which are homemade. So what we are always embracing these new technologies. So 3 years ago, we started to launch a lot of projects with GenAI, like our first a chatbot on our e-commerce called Opla. After we launched the marketing studio, which was an MVP helping the marketing teams to generate assets for marketing campaigns. And so we are really keen to explore a lot. We are a lot of verticals which are already addressed within the data scientists and the data analyst teams, like pricing, assortment, promotion optimization. All these things are already addressed for many years now. And now they are working a lot of course, on agentic in order to create the best product for our associates. We have launched our own GPT at Carrefour for the associates. And as I just told you about, we are also trying to do products for the stores, as I mentioned, for the verbatims generation. So it's really, I would say, on a daily basis, we are working on that. We have lots of committees, strategic committee for AI, with our CEO. So it's really, really core, I would say.
Thank you. And Guillaume, talking about business model reinventions, I think you have a great experience to share, because in 2024, you were obliged to basically to review your business model to avoid collapse. What were the key lessons for you?
Courage. So hello everybody. I started Slip Français 14 years ago now. It's a brand that grew up to 20 million euro turnover. That's a lot of underwear. And I took the decision 14 years ago to entirely produce in France. Nobody does that. It's only 3% of the garments we buy in France. It's more expensive, it's more difficult, but I felt it was a good story to tell, and it was my conviction that just buying garments that you actually produce here, it's jobs, it's less CO2, so it's just common sense. But it's more difficult and it's more expensive. And so I started selling underwear 40 euro a pair, because I was buying them at the time 20 euro a pair. So I was not making a lot of money, but it was yet expensive. And it grew up to 20 million euro turnover, which is great. But at some point, 12 years down the line, the company was not that new anymore. The market was very difficult because of the environment around us. And selling underwear 40 euros, once you've bought, and I hope you've done this before, Christmas gift 1 time, 3 times, 20 times. That's too many le Slip Français dans votre tiroir. Je sais pas comment dire en anglais. We felt that we needed to change, because we were dropping 10% turnover each year in a competitive market. At a time also where there is, they call it sustainability fatigue. Because us customers, at some point, we don't want to buy stuff too expensive. We just want to buy cool garments, cool stuff that we like, that are at the good price for the good value for money. And we don't want to spend too much time calculating the impact, the CO2 impact of every single thing we buy. So we need to have the good product at the right price. And we needed to change. But it was tough to change, because the promise at the beginning was to produce entirely in France. Before, I was producing with manufacturers around France that were not my factory. And I said, okay, if I keep on working with those guys, buying the underwear 20, there's no way I'm going to be able to reduce the price. I need to find a way to produce this less expensive and change the business model from a gift company to an actual équipement. I'm sorry, I usually pitch in French. Everyday. A common product. And if you go at Carrefour, you buy a pair of underwear, 10 euro, 12 euro. So 40 euro a pair. It's not like high-end. It's like high-end, top of the luxury market. And as far as I know, Hermès and Louis Vuitton, they don't do underwear. So there is no market for an underwear at 40 euro. Yeah. And okay, so we thought we need to drop the price by 50% and be able to produce and sell a product in a sustainable economic way at 15-20 euro a pair. And we started our own factory at Aubervilliers, not far from here, and change the model of distribution, still be a very good online player. We do 70% of our business online. This was always true, it's still true. So it's a 15-16 million euro turnover online on our own website, and change the distribution model from 20 own shops. So we had 20 own shops in centers of the big cities in France. We closed all those shops, so it was very tough, because that means you need to lay off people, you need to close those shops. It's very tough, and start working with Carrefour. And it was not planned in advance, but they were the first to actually trust in us and do a very big deployment of the brand into like 600 shops throughout France. So it was really great, and shift the gift side of the company to an actual common buying product where people do actually buy their underwear, which is dans la grande distribution.
And during this reinvention journey, what did you find the most complicated?
The most complicated is that we're a small company, and when you do such a drastic move, nobody trusts in you. Nobody. Everybody around, the clients, even your own staff. It's tough to be able to say, okay, not moving is very risky. We need to change everything. We're a small company. I don't make up money. I need to find solutions. And when you drop 10% each year, either you draw the line like this, or you find a solution to change things. And I think the most useful thing was to go back to why I started this company. And I started this company 14 years ago just to prove that it was possible to make it in France. Not to do some high-end brand that was selling very luxury underwear. I sold them 40 euros a pair because I was buying them 20, not because I wanted to sell them 40. So a lot of people ask me, but you started a high-end brand, are you not... comment on dit dégoûté? Désolé, je perds un mot. Are you not so you know... disgusted, let's say it will work, that you're going to turn into a more common brand? I said no, because I started this company in the first place because I wanted to prove that it was possible to make a common product in France. So yeah, basically it's a tough journey, especially in a small company, but it takes guts and trust in yourself, which is maybe the most difficult thing.
And today, if you had to restart the Slip Français again, what you would do differently?
I would do the same, I guess, because you learn on the way, and that makes how you grow. And I think if I did not start the startup way, we did 2 rounds of funding with 2 investment funds, and I think if I didn't do it like this, I wouldn't have built a brand that is known by 2/3 of the French people, which is great. And the move is possible because we have this brand notoriety. So I guess I learned on the way, and mistakes is part of the journey. But maybe I think a founder starts a company because he sees things differently. And anytime you move from this and you start listening to other people that show you a lot of Excels and calculations saying that you should not do this, you should do it because it's why you... And I think the most powerful thing is why you do things. And again, here at VivaTech, all of us, let's not go into tech because it's tech and because it's cool. Let's do things that we believe in, that make sense for us, and that will make you wake up in the morning feeling like you want to work and do great things at your company. And it's difficult. So this is great energy, but each of us just take what we want and don't be into AI all the way. There are great things, of course, but what do you do of this? And I think, I was at Meta yesterday. Meta told me something that I remembered. Every day, each of us, we scroll the heights of the Everest on our cell phone.
And being a successful brand, but still a small company, can you really benefit from these new technologies that we're talking about everywhere?
Yes, I think we do like a lot of brands, but we use a lot of ChatGPT, we have a lot of Midjourney on the pictures, and of course on the video upcoming to do a lot of ads that don't cost too expensive to produce. Of course, in our business in fashion, we do pictures on an actual model with an actual underwear for every single underwear on our website. This will not exist in 6 months because you have to pay for the photographer, for the right of the models. But then today we try to track ChatGPT to actually prompt underwear, which is not easy. It has too many legs. It doesn't show. That it's kind of funny. But of course you need to use the tool. But again, put your usage and your customer and what's actually used by the people in their daily life and how you can improve, but not go too far and just use what can be useful. Of course, customer service. We use a tool that takes up like 50% of all incoming tickets from our clients. It's great, but again, come back to why you do things, your product, your clients, and use bricks. And I think it's not a particular moment. Yeah, exactly. What's your company? What do you do? And how you do use tools around?
Thank you. Bastien, Mentalista is pioneering a fascinating space at the intersection of neuroscience and technology. For those unfamiliar with your work, basically, can you walk us through what Mentalista does exactly?
Yeah. So now we are going to jump from retail to deep tech, and especially into brainwaves. At Mentalista, we build a software and hardware ecosystem to help companies basically integrate our hardware sensors into their headsets, any kind of headsets like this cap, eyeglasses, VR headsets, audio headsets, helicopter pilot helmets, any kind. We put our headsets, our sensors inside, and then we start collecting different kind of informations that are basically electrical activity, but this is not limited to that. We also look at many modalities, and with this data, with this raw data, we analyze what we call the human factor. The human factor is our emotions, is our cognitive load, our stress, our engagement, our attention when we are looking to something. So to illustrate how we work, you can imagine like when Mark Zuckerberg say in the public, under your seat you have an headset. Maybe you can search, you have a Mentalista headset behind, you put the headset on your head. Nobody searched, so nobody think it's possible. And you put the headset, and now I can monitor in real time your attention when I speak, what is impacting your emotion, what is stressful or meaningful for you when I speak. That's a simple example on how to work with our technology.
So you are redefining the interface between mind and machine somehow. How do you envision brain-computer interfaces transforming not just product development, but really the business model of the companies?
I see brainwaves as a new insight. In fact, it gave more information to brands, to companies more globally. It makes information, as I said, on emotion, cognitive load, etc. So it helps to define products. There is one word that we use that we call hyper-personalization. Today you have one product that is already made. For example, you have the Slip Français, but you cannot change the color as you want. It's not possible because you have to rebuild it from scratch if you want to personalize it, and it will be maybe even more expensive. But there will be a new category of product in the future that can be hyper-personalized, like digital product, maybe movies, like on Netflix, that will adapt automatically based on your connected data. If you want to look at an horror movie and the movie detects that you are not afraid, then it can add more and more impact in the scene. And this is what we can create without...
A kind of real-time personalizations on digital product.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. I think it's time for questions. Who will be the first one? Always the most difficult. No? No client? And outside basically the digital product adaptations, do you anticipate other potential applications?
There is many applications. Today we are focusing on two main sectors. It's the luxury industry on one side and the defense sector on the other side. On the luxury industry, I can give you one clear example. There is the Sisley Group, the cosmetic group that is building nice cream and nice skincare products that use our technology into their retail store to analyze in real time the impact of their cream when the beauty consultant apply the cream on your skin. So you will see in real time the emotional impact on your body of the cream. So it's real proof that what is happening inside of your body. And on the defense sector, we help a lot on improving the training of our soldiers to prepare them to be in more difficult moments with more difficult scenario. When we try to stress them, we try to augment their cognitive load and try to track that more precisely as possible to see how they are going to react and prevent the scenario with how they are going to react to prevent the risk.
Last chance for question. I think you have been very clear. Thank you very much.
Thank you.